What's going on, everybody? This is a Model Mindset, of course. And today's guest, we have Kieran Chandler, who is the reigning Big East co-freshman of the year. Kieran, what's going on, my friend?
Nothing much. How are you guys?
Doing great,
good,
doing
man.
great.
Doing good.
So we are actually recording from the men's soccer room locker room, which is pretty nice. I gotta say, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing us to record
the
here.
hospitality, showing us around. The place is legit, man. The place is legit.
So where we'd like to kind of kick it off is, what drives you, and where did that drive come from?
So, I mean, just always as a kid, I'd really been inspired just to play soccer. That's all I really wanted to do. I mean, my dad pretty much got me really into it. So, I mean, I could say that's where most of my motivation comes, trying to be as good as my dad or even better. Because he was also a college athlete at Hartwick College, played soccer there. And he went on to play professionally as well.
That's awesome.
So, it's not really a competition, but
I gotta get farther than you, right?
Exactly.
So, like, growing up, then, was it something that he just kind of brought you along a lot of things? So, like, those like behaviors and things that you have now were just instilled on you when you were real young, then?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like competition and all that, right?
Yeah, I mean, just from being in the old house, we would always play soccer in our basement, and every single day he would beat me up until I was probably 8, 9 years old, until I couldn't really move anymore. And then I kind of got more athletic as it went on.
Right.
And then it was always a competition between me and him, but not even just me and him, just on the soccer field in general.
Right.
That's cool.
It didn't matter who I played.
Yeah.
And I always had the drive to win.
Right.
Yeah.
So all throughout your younger days playing soccer, right? Did you always have that drive, and did you feel a little different than a lot of the other kids who didn't have that drive? Did you feel yourself as the more driven one out on the field when you were younger?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I feel like as a soccer player, felt like I was a step ahead of most kids, just in terms of having that drive and what my dad influenced me from a young age.
Yeah.
But I mean, just growing up in Simsbury, I mean, great town. I loved everyone in there. Just their soccer just wasn't for me, so that's why I switched. And I grew up playing for FSA in Oakwood. Loved Oakwood around here. And as time grew over, I kind of just went on to the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step.
Yeah.
It became harder to play and better competition.
Right.
Just basically like all of that.
Yeah.
And so it seems like there is a healthy obsession, right? You just love the game so much that you're obsessed with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, it makes it, I don't want to say easier for you to kind of like hone your skills, but when you love something so much, you're willing to put in that extra time, extra practice. Is that basically where you got that from? You just love the game so much that you're like driven because, hey, this is something that I love to do.
Yeah, and honestly, soccer now has just become an addiction.
Yeah.
Especially being here as a Division I athlete, it's waking up, doing what you love, going to class, doing what you love again, then going eating. That's pretty much all it is right now.
Cool. That's cool.
Which is what I've been working for my whole life. So this is where I want to be, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Were there any coaches along the way that really helped you? Because what I noticed when me and Val, my wife, came and saw you and UConn play, which you got. Please come to the facility to support UConn men's soccer. It's a great facility.
For sure, yeah.
I notice is that you're incredibly intelligent with the ball. You're playing left back, which is a new position to you. Were there coaches that instilled skill in you that were like, okay, this isn't a position that is new to, or this is a position that's new to me, but I have the skill to adapt? Were there any influential coaches along the way?
Yeah, honestly, as I began my junior year, one of my coaches says that you're gonna play left back this game, and I was like, all right, I'll try it out.
Now, was this Loomis Chafee?
This was my club team, FSA.
Okay.
So this was after my fall season at Loomis for my junior year, and because he said one of the coaches want to look at you as a left back, and I was like, all right, I'll play it. And
no hesitation.
No hesitation.
Love it.
And I ended up scoring 2 goals that game.
So
yeah, it was. I mean, we granted we won 7-1, but
right.
Still, it was. Yeah, honestly, I really liked the position, but central midfield was always my position.
Right.
Which I stayed with, and then as the next year came along, I played left back for 3 more games, because that's where they wanted to see the coaches here wanted to see me, and as once our center one of our center mids who got hurt, I ended up filling in for that role. But I honestly, at heart, could be a true left back.
Yeah.
But central mid will always be my position.
Yeah,
I really love
yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
I mean, granted, like here now, the system that we play,
Yeah.
it honestly fits me really well.
Yeah.
As much as I have to defend, I get to attack even more.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. I noticed that too.
Mhm.
You make a lot of runs.
Right.
Yeah.
Running up and all and down.
So up until that point, though, you're playing that one position the whole time, and then they have you go to left back. Now, did you have any hesitation of like, but like at heart, I'm center.
Mm-hmm.
So is it hard for you to, maybe take the reins off that and think, I'm not going to be able to perform at my peak because I'm switching positions? You know what I'm saying? Like, did that cross your mind at all?
At one point, yeah, but once I got in there,
Yeah.
and I kind of got the feel for the college game.
Yeah.
I was like, this is easy.
Right.
Yeah.
This is because as a central midfielder, playing with your back face to the opposition's goal,
Mhm.
it's a lot difficult than seeing the whole field in front of you.
Yeah.
So once I got used to that, I kind of just went on as playing like a central midfielder,
Yeah.
but then defending as a left back and then thinking more as a left back.
Gotcha.
So whether it's going up and down the field or 1-to-1 defending. But yeah.
You know what's funny? You say that. It's almost like center mid prepares you to play left back or other positions because center midfield is a very tough role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to distribute. You got to quickly react. You got to defend. I mean, you've got to make very quick decisions. So
Yeah.
it's almost like, to your point, left back is kind of, it's easier because you're either just going that way, you're defending. You don't have to necessarily make quicker decisions necessarily, but I totally see what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Because I mean that could prepare you to play left back.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when I first started in a preseason game, it was like I was acting as like a center mid, but I was playing left back.
Yeah.
It's like all those years from playing center mid, it just brought me like to this one point. Like, this is where I gotta shine.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is my moment.
Right.
That's
Right.
But yeah.
So it sounds like when you got you had schools coming to check you out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did that affect your mindset going into a game at all, knowing you were going to have scouts there and checking you out, or did it even put more fuel on the fire? Like I'm coming here and dominate now.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It fueled me even more.
Yeah.
I mean, I usually I really don't get like all that nervous all that much. So
Yeah.
having no coaches or coaches there,
Yep.
it wouldn't have mattered how I played. But I would always just try and go out there and just dominate.
Yeah.
That was like my main goal of
Right.
every game.
So I'm sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah.
So what landed you at UConn then? Like what about having different coaches come check you out, right?
Mm-hmm.
What made you say, okay, UConn's a spot for me?
So I mean, growing up in Connecticut,
Yeah.
I've came to either basketball games or soccer games or
Mhm.
football games, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And when I first visited campus here, my junior year, and I fell in love with this place. The minute I came here, I really love the coaching staff. I mean, it's close to home. I'm an in-state kid. Growing up here is just kind of like a dream, really.
Yeah.
And then also, it's really good soccer here. I mean, as much as I didn't know I was going to have the year that I had, I always knew that I'd be able to strive on this team.
Right. Right.
That's awesome, man.
That is.
I love
that
that.
is.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so I saw probably about like 5 games this season. And it seemed like there were some highs and lows in the season, of course. But it seemed as though you as a team hit your stride. Was there a certain game or maybe event during the season that really galvanized you, that where you're like, all right, this is actually what we're truly capable of playing?
I mean, after we played Georgetown, we had a not so good loss. Our 3-0 defeat to them was like, all right, we got to step this up. We're better than this. And then we went on and won our next 2 Big East games, and we're like, all right, this is what we got to do every time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we went on, and we went on, and then our Big East quarterfinal game, we ran St. John's right out of the park. I mean, the scoring was different, but I mean, we just outplayed them. I felt like.
Yeah.
Even though I did unfortunately get hurt in that game,
Okay.
but just watching from the sidelines, we just brought a different type of energy to them.
Yeah.
And knowing that we can play on the level of Georgetown, which we definitely still can and could during that moment. We ended up playing them in the semifinals, and we only lost 1-0, which was also a heartbreaking defeat. But knowing that we can play up to a number 5 ranked team in America, made it a whole.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's
That's a
it makes it
confidence
like
booster,
not.
yeah.
There's good losses. A lot of some people don't like that term, but
Yeah,
I think it's a real thing. Good losses are a real thing in my opinion in sports.
Teacher.
Right. Exactly. Right. There's bad losses and there's good losses.
Yeah, I mean, I consider the Georgetown loss a good loss
Right.
because it's a learning curve for
Right.
everyone.
Yeah.
Knowing that this is what we got to do, and we got to put this set in stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that you're capable of playing to the top team, if not, even better.
Exactly.
But it's just
Yeah.
you have to have that consistency. You know.
Yep. So let me ask you this: so you're coming in as a freshman, and we're talking about kind of like the mindset of the locker room and the turning point this season. Did you have to adapt to an established culture here? Does every team every year kind of have their own identity and culture? How was that different for you coming into a major university like this and learning a culture kind of set in the UConn way?
I mean, not all that much because I committed in my junior year in May.
Yeah.
And I was up here most times than a lot of the recruits that were coming in.
Yeah.
So I was either hanging out in here watching a game or just hanging out with the boys in the dorm room.
That's awesome.
And
cool.
they welcomed me right away, which I'm really thankful for all my boys because these guys are my for lifers right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's like not even like. You're not even a real freshman. You know what I mean? Like you're an established
I
guy
like I was a
coming
freshman
in.
last year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I knew everyone before I got here really, but and I also knew a couple of Connecticut guys that go here. So
Yeah.
I mean, they welcomed me right away, and I really appreciate all of
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's cool because then at least there's a comfort level.
them.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I always equate to, so I played Division III, sorry, but with soccer, and I remember in playing college, there's always like a brotherhood that is set, especially when you have like the run like you did in the Big East Conference tournament, where you were stringing together some wins, and then you go and play Georgetown, you play them tough. It galvanizes you guys. You're like, man, we had something good. Like the season's maybe was a little rocky, but it's cool to create those memories because you can reflect on them.
So yeah, I mean, I had my Loomis coach named Scott Halpern. I actually saw him today.
Oh, nice.
And he actually made a book for their team this year about Brotherhood,
Okay.
and which I thought was really interesting. I read it, and it was like, when I first came here, he also implemented the Brotherhood into our team for my senior year, which I really wanted to bring here and make sure like everyone was one.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
We all unite,
That's cool.
and I mean, I think we all do fit in here.
Yeah.
There's really no problems, and I don't want to speak for all the other freshmen, but
Yeah.
I think they would think the same way as well.
And you know what's cool too is like when you think about a brotherhood and when you think of it that way, you genuinely care for everybody here.
Mhm.
You know, it's like, yeah, I'm willing to share the part on the field, but off the field, if anything's going on with you, you know I got your back.
Exactly.
Like that's a huge thing, you know, which is really cool. Which kind of goes into like our next question is, so John and I are always huge into like the mind-body connection, right? Being the fitness influencers that we are, right?
Using that term loosely there.
Does the coaching staff put a focus on like having a strong mindset?
So I mean, before every game, we huddle around here, and we will have probably a 2 to 3 minute pregame talk, and it's not with the coaches, but with our team captain Kyle, and he gets everyone dialed in for the game, and he really like speaks heart to heart to everyone, and like you can really feel it inside. You're like, all right, we got to lock in and be the best that we can be.
Yeah.
So he instills like that belief.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
With
self-belief,
the
man.
That's
faith
huge.
and knowing that we're gonna come out with a victory in
That's
any
awesome.
game. Doesn't matter where we are, what locker room we're in, what city we're in. He always
That's
Yeah.
huge,
sets
man.
it stone,
That is that's
which I think is really cool.
yeah, for sure. Like what about like, you know, during the week or leading into games? Do you guys do anything for for like mental health or anything like that inside the program or are things being developed? Kind of walk us through if you have anything going on like that, or is it a lot more physical and fitness training than it is anything else?
At the start of the season, we did a lot of mental stuff with one of our counselors here.
Yep.
He would always sit us down and just talk, and he'll listen.
That's great.
And whether it's he would have school issues, social issues, soccer issues, performing issues, it doesn't matter.
That's
just
awesome.
sit there and listen.
Yep.
And I ended up talking to him for like an hour and a half after training.
That's awesome.
Which I thought was really nice.
Yeah.
But then going more along the season, we did more of like physical stuff because people are either getting injured.
Right. Yeah. You're in the slog of it at that point.
Yeah, because you're also playing 2 games a week. You're practicing pretty much every day.
Yep.
Except for Sundays, we usually have off, and then. But yeah, we're constantly keep on going and going and going, and we're not getting as much rest. So,
right.
And then especially going into like we went into our Big East playoffs and all that stuff like that, we had to make sure our bodies were more prepared than that.
For sure. Right.
Because again, we have people on the team who can either spark that light in our team,
right,
and set us to go get a victory, or people just do it on their own,
right,
which I think is really cool.
That is cool. That is cool.
And going into, because again, it is a long season. You got to keep your body strong. I feel, especially like I say, when you're in high school, there tends to be a misunderstanding of not strength training during the season. But can you kind of just walk us through like that kind of training? Because you're still strength training during the season,
of course,
because you have to make sure your body's strong.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of just go into like maybe what a week looked like of where maybe you have a game or 2 games and what that strength training might look like?
At high school or here?
At this level, yeah.
So we, before every practice, we left from 3:30 to 4:30. And then we'll train from 4:45. We get 15 minutes in here to get our boots on and stuff, get changed for practice, and then we'll go out. And we'll play till 4:45 to 6:15. And it's every day, pretty much. Every single weekday. Granted, if we have a game, then it's a little different.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll do, if we have a game, we'll do a super lift, a really, really hard lift on, if we have like a Wednesday game, we'll do a really hard lift on Monday, and then Tuesday, we'll fly out, and we'll be ready for a game.
Gotcha.
Physically,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How's the traveling? You mentioned flying out in different cities a few times now. Was that an adjustment for you?
Yeah, it was different for me. I mean, at high school at Loomis, it was the bus right away.
Yeah.
But now, flying is a whole different story. So,
do you like it? Do you not like it?
No, I like it. I mean, I'm not I've always been like okay with flights. I have no problems with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, just flying out to like some places, especially like Creighton, all the way in Nebraska.
Right.
That's a far ass trip.
And
you're.
Are you flying commercial?
No. Just usually we fly American.
Okay.
Yeah.
So but yeah, we'll go all the way out there, and what sucks is we miss a lot of school.
Right.
So we have to also balance schoolwork on top of that.
Yeah.
And then playing, and then make sure we get back on time.
Right.
And all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't mind it at all. Really.
Yeah.
Traveling's not too bad.
What's the coolest place you've been to so far?
Coolest place. But I mean, the Georgetown area is really sweet. It's right near the city.
Yeah, I've heard it's a really nice
pretty
city.
much all the city, but I thought Nebraska was pretty sweet. It was
really?
we were in Radiator Springs, to be honest. There was like not a lot much there.
Right.
Barely like any cars. When we played in Creighton, you could see all of Omaha, like all the big old buildings and stuff.
Oh, really?
It was pretty sweet, but I thought that was like the most quiet, relaxed place I've been to.
Nice.
So when you went and played Creighton, did you arrive early, train? Like how long did you stay there for? Like a couple days?
We had a Saturday game. We flew out Thursday, got there like 9:00, landed, got to the hotel, got a good sleep, and then we'll do some walkthrough stuff before we train, and then we'll have training, do some recovery stuff either in the pool, eat, then probably do a little bit more walkthroughs, like probably on the TV while we're eating dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Get a good night's rest, and then play on Saturday.
Nice.
And then we would fly out that Sunday.
Okay.
To get back for Monday.
So you're at least ready for the game, well rested.
Mm-hmm.
You got, you're ready to play. It's
Yeah,
not
you
like
got
you're
your
just
fueled up,
arriving,
right?
yeah.
That stuff can kind of get jacked up on the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like your nutrition can be all screwed up and your sleep screwed up, that kind of stuff. It sounds like it's not so bad.
Yeah, I mean our fitness coach here, Coach West, he make sure we got it all. Right?
Yeah.
And then also our nutritionist Tim, he does a really good job as well. And again, sitting on a 2.5 hour plane ride won't do you much. You're just sitting there. And
Right.
your muscles are gonna get cramped up.
Yep.
And
Yep.
all that stuff. So
You be hydrated, like
Yeah,
flying and
exactly.
hydration go hand in hand. You don't realize that.
Yeah, hydration's a huge thing.
Oh, yeah.
Drinking so much water this year. It's been
Yeah.
crazy.
That's awesome.
So so you mentioned the nutritionist, right? So like, how has that adjustment been? Like coming from like high school and you come here and then you have like these things available to you. Obviously, it's awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, what are some of the things that you've enjoyed about having like those coaches and nutritionists and all those, like specifically I guess nutrition here, but
So I really enjoy like all of the. I mean, I don't want to like all the perks that we get really.
Yeah, of course.
Especially just having someone to tell you about what you should eat in your diet,
Yeah.
and what you need more and what you need less of.
Yep.
Which I think is really cool.
I mean, that's huge. Everybody could use that.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, yeah,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's huge.
No doubt.
Yeah, and then also all the stuff that we get from our nutritionist and our fitness coach. So we get protein, we get protein bars, protein shakes, protein powder,
Yeah,
all sorts of stuff that's going to refuel our body for the next day.
right.
And to just keep on going without any injuries.
Yeah, man, that's
Just-
important.
yeah,
It's
that's-
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I have to say this. You seem like you've gotten stronger. Have you gotten stronger?
Yeah, I definitely have. I feel like I put on probably about, from the season, probably 2 to 3 pounds of muscle, maybe 5.
Nice.
That's
around
great.
There you go.
So
That's
during the season, granted we lift a lot, but
Yeah.
after the season I was lifting a ton. I was
That's
going
awesome.
for
Really,
hour and a half, hour,
really.
just getting in there and
That's awesome.
having tons of protein.
Yeah.
'Cause
Now,
that's,
do you have an ultimate, like, not weight, but like size that you feel comfortable with your position, obviously, and longevity and injury purposes and all that?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you don't want to be too big, and
yeah.
so like, what's your goal like size? Do you feel like you're close to it now?
Yeah, I would probably want to put on probably 10 more pounds of muscle
Yep.
before I really get into like the professional field, which
Right.
are my dreams,
Of course.
or even playing just more college soccer, because a key aspect of college soccer is physicality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned that before we started rolling here about that was a big surprise to you. Like that's what you had to get used to the most, physicality and the size of some of the guys.
Yeah, I mean, just from the high school level, no one. I feel like I was probably just as big or taller than some kids.
Right.
But then coming into here, I'm defending people who are like 6'3", 6'2".
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a whole different
Yeah.
ball game when you're
Right.
out there. But yeah, I mean, putting on some type of muscle and
Yeah.
like just pounds in general would just be really good for me.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, to help me get quicker, stronger.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And just
Recover
maybe-
quicker too from
Yeah.
like you prevent injuries. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
huge. Yeah.
hmm
And what I noticed too is, when you're matching up against those bigger guys, you didn't try to necessarily match their physicality, but you almost were like anticipating their move, which was huge because especially, I'm a small dude, but I always try to think a couple of steps ahead. When you get to like that strength, it's you can match their physicality, but you also have like a one up on them. You can anticipate their next move, whether you're trying to push them to their left foot or their right foot, depending on what's their weak side. I want to go into how we introduced the pod as you being recognized as winning the Big East Freshman of the Year or conference. I'm sorry. What did that award mean to you?
I mean, it means a ton. This is what I've been looking for my whole life, really. And again, even the coaches were surprised with the season that I had, and I was, to be honest, I was surprised with the
Really?
season that I had. Yeah.
I mean, you were super consistent every time I saw you play them.
Yeah, I mean, I was also thought I was gonna play in the middle of the field,
Okay.
and then I switched to left back, which was a great move by the coaches.
Yeah.
For me as well, especially getting these accolades left
Right.
and right. So, but I mean, it means the whole world to me, really.
How much reflection do you put into that? Like, so it happens, right? How much do you reflect versus how much do you use it as just straight drive? Okay, great, I got this. What's next? Like, where's that happy medium for you?
I mean, I reflected on it a ton.
Yeah.
Like,
Good, you should.
as Kobe says, job's not finished.
Hell
Oh,
man.
yeah,
So,
drop that. Drop the
so-
comment.
Why would I be
Yeah.
happy? Job's not
Yeah.
finished, right? Like, yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
I love that.
I mean, again, it wasn't really my dream, but that's part of what I want to do.
It's like a box check.
Mhm.
Yep.
If you,
It's a checkpoint
Yep.
in my life. So
That's awesome.
yeah, and then obviously getting to that professional field where I want to be,
Yep.
that all comes with it. So and this obviously helps me with getting in the professional field. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you just touched on it. Jaden Hibert, he was selected 19th overall in the MLS to Atlanta FC. Congratulations to him.
Yep.
Knowing now, and again, he was a sophomore, which is pretty huge. Now seeing kind of what it took for him to get drafted, is there any kind of blueprint that you can take for him to say, okay, I saw him, I'm just using this as an example. He was putting in extra reps, in the gym to get stronger. He was he was super diligent with his nutrition. Like, was there certain things that he did that you're like, all right, I'm going to take that because I know I could use that to get to my dream, which is play professionally.
Yeah, I mean, Jay's something special. I've never seen a goalkeeper like him before.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's probably one of the most athletic kids I've ever seen.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I mean, whether it was in the locker room, on the field, or even in the gym, he would always just do his best that he could.
Yeah.
Which I thought was honestly really inspiring too.
Yeah.
Because especially now getting drafted as a sophomore, and my next year being a sophomore, which I could potentially get drafted,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
really puts in perspective of what I can do.
Yeah.
And with almost following his footsteps, I know he's a goalkeeper, which is a little bit different of a position.
Yeah.
He kind of sets as a role model for me.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
That's
That's
what
really
I want
cool.
to do too.
So do you have like are you a fan of the MLS and as far as they follow it and all that? Do you have, if you could pick a landing spot for you if your dream were to come true, right?
Oh, that's a good
Right.
question.
I'm gonna throw you a curveball. It's not on this list here we got
Yeah,
for you, so I
yeah,
want to throw
yeah.
it at you, right? If you could pick a landing spot,
Mhm.
where would it be?
Miami FC. No,
I
Gonna say, right?
Miami
Hey,
FC
man.
is sweet.
right? Yeah.
I mean, you got big time players there, and
Right,
but,
for
yeah.
sure.
I mean, honestly, I would like to go out west.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've only been to California once.
Mhm.
I haven't even been to all those states on the border. So.
Yeah.
But either San Jose or LAFC maybe
There you go. Right.
out there.
Yep.
Or closer to home, New England Revolution.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which my parents can come and watch.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I know a couple people there who already play professionally, which would be really
There you
cool
go.
to be with them and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But
That's
yeah,
awesome,
nice.
man.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome. In order to get to that, to make playing professionally come to reality, what do you feel like you need to work on in your game?
I'd say the number one thing is especially transitioning from an attacking mid to a left back, it's just my individual defending.
Okay.
And then also just more or less being patient with the ball and without the ball. And again, trying to figure out that left back position. I know that I kind of struggle with making runs on time, not being offside, which I had a bunch this year, but it is what it is.
It's a learning curve,
It
man.
is.
Yeah.
It's all a learning curve.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd say those two things are probably the most prominent things I probably have to work on in order to get to that.
I give you credit too to recognize that you need to work on that too, because some people be like, maybe my strength, but you're like, no, this tactical stuff is what I need to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of the greatest players of all time, like Messi, for example, he wasn't always the biggest.
Mhm.
He was just always like a step ahead.
Yep.
I mean, I consider myself as a fast person with and without the ball. So having that speed too is a whole different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like trying to either defend or attack too.
For our listeners out there, we have a lot of parents where their sons or daughters are athletes, and some of the listeners are younger as well, playing sports. Is there any kind of like recommendations you could give to them? Be like, hey, if you're playing soccer or if you're playing another sport, get uncomfortable playing another position because it's going to make you a more well-rounded athlete in that sport.
Yeah, I mean, just putting yourself in uncomfortable positions is gonna be like the best thing that you can do for yourself.
In any facet of life,
Yeah,
right?
I mean
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
100% true. I mean, like again, being a central midfielder and playing a whole different new position that
Yeah.
you've only played 4 times in your life. I mean, it's a whole different ball game out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it also gets your mind thinking that like, all right, this is my new position.
Yep.
This is what I need to work on, and this is the things that I need to do better.
Yep.
And this is the things I'm already good at. So when you put it all together, it's just constant practice till you get to that point
Yeah.
where you're like, all right, I got this. This
Yeah.
is what I'm gonna.
Yep.
This is the only thing that I can do, and then this is what I'm gonna work for, and then this is what I have, and then it all works out.
Attack it,
So,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No doubt, man. All right, so my last question to you: what's your goal for this upcoming season? If you could pick one thing,
For the
what
fall
would be your
season,
goal? Yep.
I mean, number one would be to win a Big East championship.
There we
That's
go.
what we've been working on for a while.
Yes,
here.
sir. Yep.
Love
And I think we can definitely do it next year. We have the players for it. We have the mentality to do it.
Yep.
But more or less, just win a Big East tournament. Get to the national tournament.
Yep.
And hopefully go really, really far and even win it.
Hell yeah.
The main goal is to win a Big East tournament.
Love it.
that. Awesome, man.
Love
Which
it.
would be sweet.
Well, Kieran, thank you for coming on, man.
Of course.
Good luck this upcoming season, and your future's bright, my friend.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
is.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you guys.
Awesome, man. Dude, that